Every year, on the same day, when the college entrance exam results were released, the top-scoring student in our city committed suicide in a gruesome and horrifying way. And every year, the higher the score, the more brutal the death. The police created a special task force to investigate, but no matter what they did, they never found a reason. They never found a pattern. Fear spread. Students began intentionally scoring lower, terrified of becoming the top student. But I didn't stop. I studied harder than anyone and ended up with the highest score in the city's history. Because 3 years ago, my sister had been the top scorer, and I watched her die. I wasn't about to let it happen again. I was going to find the truth. My dad died the year I was born. My mom raised us alone, taking on brutal jobs just to feed us. She refused to remarry, saying she'd rather struggle alone than risk making us suffer. My sister and I worked hard because we wanted to give her a better life. 3 years ago, my sister sat for the same exam. Everyone already knew the curse by then. High scorers died, brutally. I begged her to aim lower. She smiled and said, "I've worked too hard to hold back now. I'm going to break the curse." And she did get the highest score. But that same day, she jumped from the school rooftop, without a word. She looked at Mom with this strange, heavy expression, then stepped off the edge. She died instantly. In her hand, she held a bloody note that read, "Genevieve, whatever you do, don't become the top scorer." I screamed, holding her body, while Mom stood there silent. I asked her why she wasn't crying. She replied coldly, "She chose this. Who can we blame?" I never forgot that look my sister gave Mom. Something about it haunted me. So for the next 3 years, I prepared. I studied harder than anyone. I made sure I would top the list so I could expose whatever was really going on. The day results came out, I calmly walked to the kitchen and said, "Mom, if I die, will you cry?" She froze for just a second, then replied, "What kind of question is that?" I told her I'd calculated my score. I would be the top scorer. Her eyes dimmed. "Oh," she said. "Congratulations." That was all. 2 words. No emotion. No joy. I remembered how she once carried me 10 kilometers in the snow when I had a high fever. Her feet were bleeding, her lips purple from the cold, but she never stopped. That was my mother. So, why was she so cold now? The results came in, just as I'd expected. A perfect score. Everyone started talking. "She's insane. Why would she risk it? Doesn't she remember what happened to her sister?" But I didn't care. I started a live stream from my room. I set up the camera to show everything. Within minutes, thousands of viewers joined. People flooded the chat. Is she really doing this? She's ungrateful. Her poor mom. I waited. Calmly. Then I spoke. Yes. My mother raised us alone. We struggled. But my sister never stopped smiling. She promised we'd make life better. And yet she jumped. But here's the thing. I held up a folded note. This is the letter she had when she died. It says, "Genevieve, whatever you do, don't become the top scorer." But my sister never called me Genevieve. Ever. I believe that note was forged. I believe my sister was murdered. The chat exploded. What? That doesn't make sense. If the handwriting matched, how do you explain that? I continued. For the last 3 years, I've investigated every case. Not a single one of them makes sense. None of them left suicide notes in their usual writing. They were all killed. And I'm going to prove it. The camera focused on me. My face calm. I got the highest score this year. And I'm not hiding. If someone comes for me, you'll all see it. They say the higher the score, the more brutal the death, right? Then let's see. By now, hundreds of thousands were watching. Even the police tuned in. Then, the chat started flooding with a single, frantic message. "Look behind you. Behind you. Turn around." I froze. Slowly, I turned, and what I saw. The second I turned around, the cold chill crawling down my spine became unbearable. Standing in the corner of my room was someone, or something. It wasn't my mom. It wasn't anyone I knew. It was a tall, thin figure, face hidden beneath a shadowy hood. It stood motionless, hands clasped behind its back, as if watching, waiting. My heart stopped. The live chat exploded. "What is that? Call the police. Genevieve, run." But I didn't move. I couldn't. The thing took a step forward. Not a single sound. Not even a breath. The lights in my room flickered, then dimmed. Then it spoke. A voice that wasn't human. Low, guttural, echoing from inside my own skull rather than from the air. "Perfection has a price." I screamed, grabbing the nearest object, a lamp, and hurled it. It passed right through the figure, as if it wasn't there at all. I stumbled back, hitting the wall, gasping for air. "Your sister," it said again, "was warned. She didn't listen. My vision blurred, tears welling in my eyes, but I refused to look away. I needed the world to see. I needed the truth out. I shouted. Who are you? What do you want? The figure didn't flinch. It simply turned its head slightly, as if amused by my fear. You all chase greatness, but only one can wear the crown. The crown must feed. Suddenly, my screen glitched. The live broadcast cut to static. But I was still there, breathing, shaking, alive. I grabbed my backup phone, reconnected the stream, and within seconds, the viewers were back. She's still alive. What was that thing? This is real. This is really happening. The door to my room burst open. Mom stood there, eyes wide, face pale. She looked past me, directly into the corner, and gasped. That's when I knew she'd seen it too. She ran to me, grabbed my arm. We have to go. Now. What I it? I shouted. What's going on? She didn't answer. She dragged me through the hallway. We passed the kitchen. The rice was still soaking. The TV in the living room was on, but frozen, stuck on an image of my sister, smiling from the yearbook photo the news always used after she died. But something was off. Her eyes were bleeding. We ran out the front door. Outside, police were arriving. Sirens blared. I ran to one of them, trying to explain everything, my stream, the figure, my sister. They looked confused. We lost signal, the officer said. It just vanished. There's no record of the last 10 minutes. Like it never happened. I turned around. Mom was gone. I ran back inside. The door was wide open, swinging in the wind. But the house was empty. No trace of her. Not even her shoes by the door. The rice bowl in the sink, gone too. I was completely alone. I stood in the doorway, breath shaking, heart pounding so loud it hurt. The entire house was wrong. The warmth, the memories, the sounds gone. It was like the place had been hollowed out, like it had never been lived in at all. Where there were once photos on the walls, there was now nothing. Just bare nails. No furniture. No scent of dinner. No trace of my mother. I stepped back outside, trying to find the police, but they were gone too. No cars. No flashing lights. Not even tire marks. Silence. The street was empty. Completely. I pulled out my phone. No signal. Not even Wi-Fi. My broadcast offline again. My profile deleted. It was like I'd been erased. I walked for blocks, searching for anyone. A voice, a car, a light in a window. But every house I passed was dark. Deserted. Like the entire city had gone still. And then I heard a voice. Whispering. Right behind me. Not in my ears. In my mind. Do you still want to know the truth, Genevieve? I froze. The air around me turned heavy. My ears began to ring. I turned slowly, and standing in the middle of the street was the hooded figure again. But this time, it wasn't alone. Behind it were dozens of others. Some were students. Some were adults. Some wore uniforms. Some had faces I recognized from past news stories. The top scorers. All of them. All dead. Eyes lifeless. Skin pale. Some had signs of their gruesome deaths still etched on them. Burns, broken limbs, gashes. And, in the center of the group, my sister. She stepped forward. Her voice was soft. Almost gentle. I told you not to do it, General. I tried to protect you. Tears welled in my eyes. Why? Why didn't you tell me? She looked up, her eyes glowing faintly red. Because she couldn't. The voice was no longer hers. It was the figure's. They're not killed because they're smart. They're chosen. One, every year. The brightest mind. The most driven. The most valuable. A sacrifice. I shook my head, stepping back. Why? For what? It raised a bony finger and pointed behind me. I turned around and saw a school building, massive, ancient, decaying. But not like any I'd ever seen. It towered into the sky, shifting subtly as if alive. The gates swung open. On the stone arch above, words carved in blood. Perfection must feed. The figure whispered. You solved the puzzle. You walked into the trap. And now, Genevieve, you belong to the system. And then everything went black. I woke up in a white room. Cold. Empty. A bed. A desk. A single door. No windows. No clock. Just a mirror across from me. And, in the mirror, not my face, but hers. My sister. Smiling. I screamed. But no sound came out. On the wall behind me, scratched in deep letters. Top scorer, 2025. And now? You're probably wondering if this was all just a story. A warning. But if you're reading this, you're already part of it. Think twice before aiming to be the best. Because they're watching. And they're always hungry for the next perfect mind. Perfection has a price. And next year, it might be you.